All right, y'all, so we got to talk about effort, because effort is where the success starts. Now, every morning you wake up, it's very important to remind yourself, I am a product of how much effort I put forward. I am a product of where I put my effort. And that every bit of effort counts. Don't waste it. It's very valuable stuff. And don't refuse to use it. Effort is serious business. Right? Now, when I talk about where your effort goes, now your effort goes into things like your goals and the activities that you need to do in order to reach those goals. But your effort also goes into silly things like the news and TV shows and more important things like people. Important people, not so important people, right? We put effort into all these things. And there's very real consequences for when we misplace that effort. So here's the first example, and I'll start with a personal experience. Now, you may not know this about me. I don't speak about this very often, but I am very, very interested in politics. I like to know how people think, not only in an individual level, but on a societal level, on a social level. Right? So here in the US, we got Republicans, we got Democrats, we got liberals, progressives, conservatives, and all the drama that comes with that, right? We got the critiques and the criticisms of capitalism. We got the talks about socialism and all this kind of stuff, the economy. There's a lot going on, right? We got a president that everybody hates. Which, you know, there's a lot of people around the world who are dealing with a president that everybody thinks is an idiot or whatever the case is, right? And there's a lot of drama around that. And so we have the battle of left versus right. And it's very exciting stuff. And more people, I find, are now jumping into politics and taking more of an interest in it because of just how much of a drama it's been. It's almost like your favorite TV show. To the point where people just tune into the news because it's entertaining, because of all the drama, right? You got fully grown adults acting like children. Emotional, hysterical children, right? And so, I'm not gonna front, right? A little bit of, I like the drama a little bit, right? But I like to learn from the drama. I wanna know why, I'm very curious. And since I take a strong interest in people, this is one of the things I'm interested in. But it comes at a cost. Because the more I focus on politics, if I'm not careful, I put way too much effort into that, and it detracts from the other things. It detracts from the things like self-development. It detracts from things like creativity. It detracts from things like just sitting still, practicing mindfulness, away from a screen. Because if you're always reading articles and watching YouTube videos and seeing what the pundits say and what these politicians are saying and understanding the policies and all of that type of stuff, that can be a lot of clutter that just adds up in your mind. And when you have a lot of stuff going on in your mind, it's very difficult to focus. If I have all of these different narratives and stuff and events in my mind, it makes it very difficult for me to step in front of this camera and talk about something that has nothing to do with that stuff. So I gotta purge it. I gotta take my effort away from learning about these things and put it into the things that really matter. I gotta put it into the tribe. I gotta put it into the members of the tribe. I gotta put it into me, right? I gotta reanalyze, restabilize, refocus. Write down the priorities one by one in order on paper. Got to get focused, right? Because effort without focus is just effort all over the place, aimlessly. It's not deliberate, and that's dangerous. So, for me, it may be politics, right? I don't really watch much television. For you, it may not be politics. It may be favorite television shows, right? Maybe you're watching Empire and Ghost and Walking Dead and all of this type of stuff. Right? Well, the show's not called Ghost. What's it called? Power? Something like that? I don't know. When I tell you I don't watch television, I'm serious. Now imagine you got 6 different favorite television shows that you keep up with. You got to keep up with 6 different narratives that are not even real. and have nothing to do with your life. Now, if you got to keep up with 6 different narratives of these 6 different favorite television shows, you also got to keep up with all the actors or the characters in those shows. And that could be like 20 people, maybe more. Now imagine having to keep up with the storyline and all the narrative and the events and details of 20 different people. Imagine how distracting that is when you put all the effort into those 20 characters and those storylines. What about your storyline? If you're diluting your effort and focus off of your storyline onto the storylines of 20 other people, that's got very real consequences. Because when it comes time to keeping up with the narrative of your life, maybe your life is not as interesting as the characters on The Walking Dead, where they're getting chased around by zombies and stuff, and they got crazy demented people trying to kill them. Right? I've seen the ads for it. Now they got people who are like pretending to be zombies in order to get the drop on them. Crazy stuff. Maybe your life is not that interesting. Right? You go to work every day. You go to the gym after work or before work. You're just trying to lose some weight. Maybe you're just trying to gain some muscle. Things like that. Trying to earn more income. Trying to buy a house. These things may not be as exciting on the front end, but they're the most important. Because the storylines of your favorite TV shows and what happens to your favorite characters on those TV shows is not important. And it's very real consequences for putting that effort on those things that are not important. And the clutter is real. Because if you're thinking about your favorite television show, what happened, what you think is going to happen, and if you can make it home from work in order to tune into your favorite show, or whatever the case is, right? And then the emotional trauma that you feel from watching the show and experiencing the visceral response from good writing and good acting. This stuff can be so immersive that even if you were to try to shift the focus back onto you, you're so caught up in that, you can't even think about yourself. You can't get immersed in yourself. You got to pull all of that away and put it back onto you. It's a very difficult thing to redirect all that momentum. So just be mindful of it, not let it get carried away. It's very important. And when we have to take effort off of something, and we have to go and redirect momentum and all the effort away from something else to put it somewhere else, that is exhausting. So it is very common for people to feel unmotivated, to feel confused, to not be able to think and focus in their mind. They feel cluttered in their mind and exhausted and tired. A lot of that may be not because like your job is draining you, or you got personal drama with people that you know in your life. A lot of it may be those television shows. It affects you more than you think. If I got to purge from politics and avoid that stuff entirely, and that's stuff that has real world consequences. So television shows, that stuff's not really that important. So you got to be mindful of what's important and keep your eye on the ball. So we all have our vices of things that we put too much effort on. Now, that is about the relationship with vices, like watching television shows, battle raps, or watching the news, whatever the case is, right? We have a relationship with these things, these entertainment things, and we live in the age of where there's YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, right? You got Pandora, where you're listening to ads and people are trying to sell you stuff, right? You got banks trying to tell you start up a new account. You got car commercials that are saying, hey, we got a sale, come in and buy a car, and all of this type of stuff, right? And every single song, every time the song ends, you got to hear about 2 ads. You got to get pitches. Clutter, just clutter. We got entertainment outlets everywhere, all over the place, right on your phone. And your average person walks around glued to the screen of their phone all the time because of just all of the stimulation. But you can get overstimulated. And when you get overstimulated, you become numb. And if you're numb, you can't really have the passion that you need in order to achieve personal success. It drains your passion, it drains your effort, it drains your focus. So it's important not to get caught up in that. And look, me, I work online. Right? Tribe is online. It's in person also, right? But if you're watching this video, you're watching this online. If you found me, you probably more than likely you found me on Facebook, you found me on Instagram, you found me on YouTube, you found me somewhere. Maybe you even found me on Twitter. You found me from a Google search. But you got to sit in front of a screen, right? So I got to connect with you guys. I got to dive into the Facebook. I got to dive into the Instagram and post and share information. But I got to do it mindfully. I can't get caught up in the scrolling through the screen. Because then I get distracted and then it's like, why did I get on here? Right? So we got to be responsible in the relationships that we build to these things. Next up, as far as relationships, we got a relationship with something that everybody has. An occupation, a job, work. And in our current day and time, people work way more hours than they used to 20, 40 years ago. And if you adjust for inflation, people make a lot less than they used to. Right? And so when you're at work and your boss dumps extra work on you, gives you responsibilities that are not even a part of your job. It's not really a thing you're mandated to do, but they just ask you to do it anyway. And if you keep letting your boss know, you keep accepting the work they give you, they'll keep giving you more. Right? Even if it's responsibilities that you don't really want. If you don't say no, you just say yes, or you concede and say, okay, I'll do it, they'll just keep giving you more. And so the same way you have boundaries with Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, television shows is the same way you have to have boundaries at work. Because you have personal goals. You're expendable at your job. You can't be replaced at your job. So you really have to set boundaries and protect yourself. Protect that focus. Clear your head. Protect your space up here. Protect your space in your body. Very important. Because there's no shortage of people who can't even make it to the gym because they're overwhelmed at work. There's no shortage of people who can't eat right, or they say they can't eat right, because they don't have the time to do meal prep. Because they're overwhelmed at work. There's no shortage of people who their lives are consumed by work because somehow their job is like the most important thing in the universe and their whole life hinges on it, to the point where everything else takes a back seat. You want to be a successful entrepreneur? Back seat. You want to get in shape, lose body fat, build muscle? Back seat. You want to have more time to exercise, more self-care? You want to get your nails or your toes did? Back seat. You want to sit at home, relax, take a nap or meditate, put on a diffuser for some essential oils? Backseat. Got to be into work, right? And you have to draw a line, because the more effort you put into your occupation, the less you put into yourself. So if you're a part of the tribe, you know you're a part of the tribe because you have personal goals that mean a lot to you. Right? You want to be better mind, body, and soul. You want to eat better. You want to have more control over your life. You want to look better. You want to feel better. You want to move better. You want to think better. But you can't do that if you have no time to work on those things, because you have not set boundaries. So you set boundaries with the entertainment, you set boundaries at work. And now moving on, of course, we go to the relationships that you have in your personal life. Right? Who you're dating, who your friends are, right? Associates, people that you hang out with, people that you pick up the phone for. Got to set boundaries there too. Got to think, how important is this interaction? How important is this relationship? Is this relationship stepping on my toes? Right? There's no shortage of people who are dating somebody and they feel as though they're putting in way more effort into that relationship than the other person is. Where they call you and they never, or you call them and they never call you back. Or you speak to them and they seem uninterested in the conversation on the phone. Be careful of this, right? Because maybe this is an important person in your life, but you may need to pull back on that effort and place that effort somewhere else where it counts. Maybe place that effort into somebody who truly values you and will show you that back in return. And when you pull effort from someone, it's not because you dislike them. It's because you value your protection. You value your energy and your time. You value your mental focus, your peace of mind. You value that. So if what you're putting out is not being reciprocated from a particular person in your life, it just means it's time to redirect that a little bit. And they come around whenever they come around. Not unless you just want to cut them off entirely. That's up to you. But it's just something to think about. And this is with people you're dating. This is with friendships. Right? We have friends. Maybe sometimes you ask these friends to hang out and they never really seem interested in hanging out. Or maybe you have people who are putting too much on you. They're in your face way too much. Maybe you're in a relationship with someone and they're putting way too much on you. They're putting way too much drama on you. Like your boss at work, they're throwing way too much responsibility on you. They're burdening you with all their emotional catastrophes. Much like your favorite show, Walk of the Dead. Walking Dead. I like using that show as an example because it's so popular, right? So there are people who are not really giving you much, and then there's people who are giving you way too much of the wrong stuff. And so you got to set boundaries with both. You got to reallocate and redistribute your effort to where it counts. Put your effort into the people who need it, to the people who value it. And that goes including yourself. Because you're putting a lot of effort into people, and you should be putting that effort into yourself. Because, trust me, all the relationships that you have in your personal life, there's a lot of them that are completely unnecessary. There's a lot of them that if you were to just let them fall away, you'd have a lot more effort to put into people and things that are a lot more important. And so, in a nutshell, wrapping this up, pull out a sheet of paper when you get a chance, sooner than later, and make a list. I love lists, right? Write down all the things that mean the most to you in your life, the most important things. Be specific. I don't mean like, I value love, money, comfort. No, specific things. Like specific goals and things that you value the most, and write them down in order. And then every day, those things should be getting your effort in order. So if fitness is one of those things that's on the top of the list, you should be doing that first thing in the morning. If mental health is number one on the list, if that's the thing that you need the most right now, that should be the first thing that you work on every morning, every day as soon as you wake up. Mental health, do what you gotta do. Listen to that instrumental music, the ambiance. Smell something good, eat something good. Work out. Meditate. Do your affirmations. Look yourself in the mirror and speak power into yourself. First thing in the morning, everything. With passion, vigor. That should come first. You got body goals, that should come first. 4, 5, or 6 o'clock in the morning, whenever you got to get it in. That should come first. You want to eat better, that meal prep's got to come first, ASAP. Soon as you get the time to do some meal prep, you get it done. You get in the kitchen, you get busy. Write it down, all the stuff you need from the grocery store. Check the grocery list. Right? Look at the recipes. What are the things I really like to eat that I can eat? Make a list of all the foods that you're going to stick to eating. And prioritize all the good stuff first. Because yeah, we like cookies sometimes. We like the junk food sometimes. And you can have that stuff. But all the good, most beneficial stuff, that's got to come first. All the most important stuff's got to come first, bottom line.